Hey, Dreamy here, and I think this Super Vegito that released for the 6th anniversary is arguably one of the most unique, fun, and powerful units that have ever released in the game. And one of the things that really pops out to me is the fact that he's on so many teams. And so I guess there is an infinite number of combinations that you could try out with the character, but I do believe there will eventually be one that just edges out above the rest, one that is just superior, and I think I've stumbled upon it. This Super Vegito is quadruple Zenkai buffed with Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan as the team leader. I'll explain why and what role each character has to fulfill. The characters I'm going to be bringing into the fight would be Trunks, this sort of Hope Trunks, Super Vegito obviously, as well as Ultra Gohan. You can see the equips for yourselves there. I guess I'm just gonna jump into the fights, so the only thing I can really tell you is to brace yourselves. Fair warning, all of these matches are pre-recorded and I'm just talking over them, but I feel like it is fun to talk about and fun to have go in the background. So the first team that I'm going up against is Sun Family, featuring the new Gogeta Blue, the tag blues who fuse into Gogeta, transforming Gohan Beast, as well as Saiyan Saga Feetku. My opponent manages to land an early combo, and this demonstrates one of the capabilities of Trunks, which is as a defender. Obviously, he's not as good as he once was, but he can still fulfill a role as a defensive character, considering the fact that Vegito is built very offensively. Both Gohan and Trunks have the same role of playing defense in their own way. While Trunks has his unique gauge and has his naturally high defense, Gohan has his counter. They allow for the opponent to kind of like throw away their combo and just punch them down while they waste their cards and their ki, and that opens up the door for me to launch a counterattack with Super Vegito. Considering they're quadruple Zenkai buffed, a lot of times what ends up happening is element factor is completely nullified, and again, comboing is just really easy, especially with their green card that gives them 100% switch gauge. Obviously that time it ran out, and there I dropped as well, so I didn't get cover change. But one of the other things about this team is cover change, right? It's really easy to get cover change. It's almost always active, either with Gohan or with these two. I go for the fusion, and because it's better to just fuse right off the bat. Obviously, being the tag unit is much safer, but going for the rush here means that I'm not going to miss, and someone is guaranteed to be killed, especially with the endurance nullification as well. But considering my opponent doesn't have any endurance, we're obviously not going to see any of that in action. And unfortunately, I did not get the special effect where Vegito actually nullifies the correct guess. And the Rising Rush animation is also pretty cool, because it's Gohan and Trunks doing a Gallic Gun and Kamehameha. But there goes the Rising KO. And yep, my opponent just forfeited. It's a great demonstration of how the characters can kind of work together. But yeah, right into the second match, we're going up against Sun Family again. This time we have GT Goku, GT Kid, Universal Spirit Bomb Goku in place of Feetku from before. And instead of going up against Gogeta, we're going up against Vegito. One of the things that I keep forgetting is that this Vegeta, this is the side of Vegeta from Vegito, is a character with a blast cover change. We've just been seeing so many characters with strike cover changes that seeing a blast cover change is just so unexpected. And as you can see here, that with every single tag switch, you can see how easy it is for me to kind of sustain that cover change nullification effect constantly, make it almost always active. Here I switch into Gohan because again, he plays the role as a tank fairly well, especially considering how some of the opponents usually rock a team similar to mine, which have a lot of blue units. Being green tends to help, even though you have other characters like Golden Frieza, for example, who are purple and tend to have that color advantage over Gohan. But, I mean, yeah. You can see there that Gohan actually does his part. And again, we can't forget about Gohan's green card, the knockback. It's really easy to kind of gain priority and to then switch into Goku and Vegeta, who can then, from there, start another combo and make it even more powerful, right, in comparison to Gohan. So again, the characters mesh together very well, and once you get a proper flow of, how Vegito fights, you get to see these where the combos go on forever, and it's super easy to kind of weave your fusion into your combos. I didn't fall for, the blast cover change a second time and pop the Rising Rush again, Rising Rush becomes, a very powerful ability, even more so than it usually is, simply because Vegito can nullify if your opponent does guess correctly, and again, unfortunately, that does not happen here. But it does guarantee a kill, and that just makes the team dominate a lot easier. I think one of the things that make this team so much more powerful is the fact that it has such a great balance of offense and defense. As you can see here, GT Goku is not doing any damage. If I stood still and made breakfast, I can't see. If I went and made breakfast while my opponents are rushing me or doing all of these things, I would come back and most of my characters would still be alive. Because another thing that you can't forget is the fact that both Gohan and Trunks have endurance. So if my opponent makes a move like what you're seeing right here, where the rush is done by a character without endurance nullification, the endurance is just gonna pop, and we have 2 of those. And so, yeah, I mean, again, that's just one thing that makes the team even stronger, is that the defensive characters actually have additional defensive mechanics, like endurance, that helps them from, surviving a powerful attack. Unfortunately, I did forget that both the Goku and Vegeta have ultimate art ceiling, and I guess, I can't be the only one who's experienced that, but that does mean I need to get rid of the ultimate, unfortunately, because otherwise Trunks is gonna die, and obviously these characters are super valuable. It's really nice to have all of these characters still alive, because then it's not very difficult to decide who to sack off, just in case your opponent unleashes another powerful attack. There again, you can see that Gohan's actually putting in some decent work, especially considering the fact that he's a type advantage character against Vegito. You really get to see this heightened performance from him. You really get to see him shine, and I guess he's gonna shine even more now, considering that, yeah, Vegito is one of the best, and he can counter him purely through his color. Go for the ult, and that actually does kill GT Goku, which is great. It goes straight for the endurance nullification, and that's me completely forgetting that Trunks does not have blast armor, and my health is really low, and that's why Gohan is on the team as well. The armor break cards are insane. They make Vegito infinitely better. But off to the third match, I think this is definitely the deciding battle, because it is a strongly gimmick fight, I'll tell you that, because obviously, again, these fights are all pre-recorded. I've done all of these matches beforehand, and one thing I will tell you is that this is a gimmick fight. This is the last fight of the video, by the way, and you can see how far the bar is. We've still got a long way to go. Trust me. It's a very gimmick fight, especially considering how powerful, or not necessarily powerful, but how annoying Broly's barrier ability is. And there you can see how easy it is for me to kind of sustain a combo. You can see how the damage is not all that bad, even though, again, this is a unit from however many years ago. And there I completely forgot that the barrier would knock you back anyways. He keeps getting his vanish back, and so it becomes increasingly difficult to actually land a decent combo. There he goes for the barrier again, and it's fine if the blue card isn't weaved into it. It's not comboed. It's still very annoying and makes it really difficult to actually kill Broly, especially considering that the team doesn't have any purple units. So the best thing I got is type neutrality with either Vegito or Gohan. There I switched because the risk was way too high. I was not gonna have Vegito die, because he is like the team's anchor. Without Vegito, the team can't win. And also, in this fight, my opponent gets a lot of perfect vanishes, which is really annoying to work with. Very annoying to see as well. It just keeps happening over and over again. I'm sorry. My throat's a bit, I was tutoring a bit of maths, and there was a lot of talking involved. But moving again, as you can see, another PV, very, just really, really annoying. And again, this Broly as well, I would say that he's very annoying, not just because of his barrier, but because his blue card actually does a decent amount of damage. And there I missed, my fingers were a little too late to the vanish, so I couldn't get it. But as you can see here, this is another demonstration of how good Trunks is tanking, because another thing to remember is the fact that Trunks is being Zenkai buffed by 3 of the 4 units that Zenkai buff Vegito. So he does actually become a bit stronger, though, not by a large margin, but by a decent amount, certainly. I go for the rush to kind of bait the vanish, and in the hopes that I could punish, but I think my range was a bit off, and so that didn't work out, and Gohan ends up getting killed. I think losing Gohan was definitely huge. I was definitely thinking that we were going to lose the match simply because Gohan wasn't there anymore. But this, as you can see here, it's definitely an opening given to me. Trunks, again, as you can see, the damage is not bad, especially considering the fact that, you know, a lot of people summoned on the fusions, but they don't have them at a high limit break, and so what ends up happening is that they're very susceptible to really strong attacks. Their defenses aren't that high, as much damage as they can deal. I try to go for the ult, but no, it just doesn't work out. And you saw the green card from Broly from before, just now, that hit Trunks. Like, it did so much damage, he almost completely died altogether. But yeah, considering that we lost one of our endurance characters, and then we're gonna get rushed again by a character who also nullifies endurance, and, you know, one that I can't guess. There is, like, Vegito is one of the best counters to this team, obviously. Like, the counter to a Vegito is just a better Vegito. And there goes Trunks, unfortunately. So this is definitely going to be a 1v3, and it's going to be a bit tense, you know. I was tense when I was doing this fight, and I transform into Vegito, just to recover some health and make sure that I don't die from a combo, because that does happen if you don't play it safe. I have 2 green cards, which is good for sustaining combos, I guess, if I ever need to. Go for the Blast Armor, but again, that infinite vanishing gauge is just so annoying to work with, and as you can see, it's just barrier after barrier. A lot of these fights, you know, they're just dragged out just because of the sheer amount of barriers that get thrown out, and then the Broly just dodges, and, you know, the process gets rinsed and repeated over and over again. My opponent goes for the Gogeta fusion, and again, this is very scary because Gogeta is a powerful opponent. Not the tag, I mean powerful as in he is a very strong, hard-hitting character. But trust me, quadruple Zenkai buffed Vegito hits way harder. There's the first kill, and now it's a 2v1. Again, this is like one of the main important parts of having good defense. There I won the Dokubaki Impact, which is great. But having good defense is so important, which is why, you know, Zenkai buffing is great for Vegito, because it increases his defense. I only have him at 4 stars, right? So his defense is not that high. But thanks to the Zenkai buffs, he's actually capable of sustaining heavier hits. I go for the green card there, again, to get another card, to continue the combo. And I still have my gauge, I still have my vanish if I ever need to pop it. There I waited, and successfully so, thankfully. My opponent did not get another PV on me, thank goodness. And switching to Broly. Okay, again, my opponent is very low, and the odds of me winning is actually fairly decent now. Definitely managed to turn the tables. My opponent goes for the main, and again, holds a blue card then. And, you know, that was a huge mistake. That was an absolute blunder. I think in most situations that would have cost me the match. But I think Vegito is definitely clutch, and he was definitely on my side for this showcase. Because he actually survives the blue card with 66,000 health, and you could see that my opponent went for the quick attack for the final hit. So with 3 counts on the clock, I actually managed to land the LF against my opponent Vegito, which is, and that animation is amazing too. So it was definitely quite the victory, and my opponent absolutely fought well. It was an amazing match, and that's about what I believe is the best setup for Super Vegito. You know, high offense from Vegito, and high defense from his allies, being Gohan and Trunks. There's definitely other team combinations that are worth trying, but I find it to be the most fun, to be the most flexible, and the one that is capable of bringing down the most teams and dominating in PvP. Do you have any other team suggestions that you think I should try? If you do, then I suggest you put it in the comments, and if you want to see a similar video for Gogeta Blue, then again, put it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you ever have any kind of criticism or have found a kind of mistake in the video, an error that you would like to point out, then feel free to do so in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe to see future videos when they come out, and hit the bell too to make sure you get notified. I think that's gonna do it for this video. Bye, thanks for watching.